Right now on the National Weather Desk, after the storms, hurricane-force winds take down trees, knock out power, and shut down roads across the Washington, D.C. region.
Emergency crews seeing 10 times their normal call volume.
Tracking the tropics, 2 storms are brewing in the Atlantic while the nation's heat wave continues to bake the South.
I'm trying to find some cool air.
Western wildfires. Flames spread across multiple states, and Mother Nature is not cooperating.
And because of those dry fuels, it spread very quickly.
Tree canopies. Will more trees help keep people cool in Seattle?
Planting trees are going to only help.
And cool pavement, the new technology that could help reduce city temperatures.
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Good morning and welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm Angela Brown. Major roads in the Washington, D.C. region are still closed this morning following powerful storms Saturday night. Hurricane-force winds knocked down massive trees across the region. It wasn't a tornado, but rather a series of downbursts or microbursts. Megan Clark shows us the cleanup and the aftermath.
An Arlington tenant with a tree branch through her window and on her pillow after Saturday night's storm brought down trees and power lines across hard-hit Arlington, Alexandria, and Fairfax County. Dominion Energy crews handling about 90,000 initial outages and hundreds of sites like this one in Falls Church.
This is one of more than 400. So you multiply this number of crews times that, and that's the amount of work it takes. They're going off to another location to do more work.
The northern part of George Washington Memorial Parkway closed Sunday. Large trees snapped in half. In Fairfax County, emergency crews seeing 10 times their normal call volume.
Any incident that was life-threatening in nature or potentially life-threatening in nature was given priority and responded to immediately.
D.C. Fire and EMS also seeing record call numbers with more than 800 calls in a 24-hour period. More than 300 calls for help due to the storm. Wesley Heights, Glover Park, Cleveland Park, part of Trinidad, and Palisades left brutalized. Responders had so many calls they were forced to utilize a natural disaster response.
When you receive these many calls for this type of event, you've got to prioritize them. You've got to deal with the life-threatening emergencies first, or else you will completely deplete your resources.
While that wasn't a tornado, a twister did touch down in Massachusetts on Saturday. It's the second time in 2 weeks that a tornado struck the Bay State. While no one was hurt, Gabriella Garaciola reports people in Easton are definitely rattled by what happened.
It sounded crazy.
I heard this big crash.
Out of nowhere, kind of like a swooshing sound. And then the lights went out and boom.
Crash.
A storm unlike anything these Easton residents have ever experienced, leaving behind extensive damage.
It almost stopped as quickly as it started. So it was like something came through quickly and moved on, but did a lot of damage in a short amount of time.
The National Weather Service says it was a tornado with winds reaching 105 miles per hour. Around 8:30 Saturday night, trees came crashing down throughout the town, damaging homes and cars.
Came down and took my porch off and broke a couple windows, get a little water damage, but all in all, we're good. You know, everybody was safe.
It was a complete mess out here. The DPW is here cleaning it up right now. But when I came out this morning, I was really surprised because I've never seen this amount of damage from one storm.
Many residents still shaken up say it could have been much worse.
We take our dog out several times every night, you know, right here in the backyard, so it's scary.
We just missed the trees falling down, so we're pretty lucky.
The town says no injuries were reported. The Department of Public Works is now working around the clock to clean up the damage.
Big picture, obviously, this stuff can all be cleaned up.
And tracking the tropics this morning, the National Hurricane Center is watching 2 systems in the Atlantic Ocean. One is currently off the North Carolina coast. It only has a 30% chance of forming into a named storm. But the good news is the forecast takes it away from the U.S. The other storm has a much better chance of forming, but it should stay away from the U.S. By the way, the next storm will be named Emily. Now to the relentless heat. While portions of the South will continue to bake once again, there is a bit of good news in the Southwest. Phoenix may end its streak of 31 consecutive days of temperatures at 110 degrees or higher. That's because of storms forecast for the region today. John Lawrence has details.
July ends Monday night, but the extreme heat the month brought for much of the U.S. isn't fading away with the turn of a calendar page.
I'm trying to find some cool air, and when it comes, it's like, yay, it's here. But my God, it's only for a minute.
Hot weather in the summertime isn't out of the ordinary, but the past couple of weeks have had record-setting temperatures in numerous cities. For example, on Saturday, Phoenix saw thermometers rise above 110 degrees for the 30th straight day.
Summer is always a tough period for us. This summer has broken records, and it's been particularly difficult for those who are most vulnerable.
Heat alerts are in effect for more than 70 million people in more than 10 states, from Texas to Florida, according to the Weather Prediction Center.
If you're not used to the heat and stuff like this, I would suggest you don't necessarily come out and experience it because it is a lot.
The Weather Prediction Center forecasts the Southern Plains, Lower Mississippi Valley, and Southeast could see heat indices rise above 105 degrees this week.
A wildfire that started in California has now spread into South Nevada. As of Sunday, it burned 70,000 acres and was 0% contained. Dry brush and high winds are fueling the flames. Ambar Rodriguez is in southern Nevada with details on the fire.
The fire began to spread faster Sunday morning due to strong winds. By the afternoon, the fire was over the mountain ridge and closer to the tight-knit community.
It's quite a bit of a glow last night, and then the smoke's been really thick.
John Addier, a longtime meteorologist with the National Weather Service in Las Vegas.
It started in the Mojave National Preserve at an elevation about 5,000 feet, and there was quite a bit of vegetation, pinyon, pine, and brush, and dried grass. And because of those dry fuels, it spread very quickly.
He says in the next few days, there will be a combination of factors which will impact the fire's activity.
Winds will mainly be thunderstorm driven. We're going to see an increase in showers and thunderstorms, especially tonight through Monday and Tuesday. In addition, there's going to be higher humidity and lower temperatures, which should help diminish fire activity a little.
Multiple wildfires are burning this morning in Montana. Right now, there are 56 active fires, 37 just starting in the last 24 hours. The largest here is the Cult Fire, which has burned more than 5,400 acres in eastern Montana. It's just 3% contained. The fires could expand even more with warm temperatures and dry conditions expected until Thursday. Well, a new tree ordinance went into effect yesterday in Seattle. While the rule helps protect and grow tree canopies, it also is designed to help keep the city cool during heat waves. As Karina Vargas explains, many residents say Seattle needs more trees.
When temperatures reach dangerous levels, finding shade makes a big difference. People who live in South Park know it, but they also know finding relief from scorching temperatures in their neighborhood is a big challenge.
Across the board, it's been getting hotter and hotter. And the last 2 summers have been pretty gnarly out here, and it's like if you don't have AC, it's pretty bad.
People like John Little is excited about the new Seattle tree ordinance. He says it's important to grow the tree canopy, something he says is needed in industrialized areas.
More shade equals less heat radiating off the ground, less exposed. And especially like the super black tops and stuff, like that really generates a lot of heat.
The ordinance limits the number of trees being cut down and increases penalties for illegal tree removals. But some residents have questions about who will be enforcing it.
People who care about trees are getting permits. They're taking care of their trees. They're making sure arborists are coming in and they're being healthy, where there's not a lot of policing on the moment, so somebody else just cuts down a tree.
We reached out to the city with those questions about when these areas like South Park could start seeing the benefits. They said that there's no timeline for when they will see the changes, but said tree planting occurs in the fall, so trees can settle before the hot summer months.
And coming up on the National Weather Desk, shark attacks are less common than you think. We'll take a deep dive into the scary but still uncommon occurrence. And if you cannot control the weather, at least you can take control or take some steps to control the heat. A look at cool pavement technology next on the National Weather Desk.
I'm meteorologist Emily Santham, and here's a look at the Northeast for today. It'll be pretty warm on the southern part of New England. We're going to be in the low 80s. The more you trek north, we'll be in the 70s, and even 60s. Top of Maine are going to be in 68. Let's check out our radar for today as well. We're tracking some rain towards the lunchtime hour in central Maine, and a little bit of on and off showers in New York, Vermont, New Hampshire. Those will travel through as we enter the 5 o'clock hour later today. And we're tracking some rain in Massachusetts and parts of Connecticut, and they'll head on out as we head to overnight.
I'm meteorologist Jasmine Lomax with a look at the mid-Atlantic region. Some will be waking up to showers this morning, but the rain gradually tapers. It looks a little bit better as we head into the afternoon. Still a few showers lingering along the eastern shore. As we head into the night, we finally start to dry out, and it's looking good for Tuesday with mostly dry weather on the way. Temperatures this afternoon reach the 70s and the 80s, staying pretty mild. Overnight, the temperatures drop to the 50s, 60s, and 70s.
I'm meteorologist Vitas Reed. Here's a look at your southeast overnight highs. 91 degrees in Nashville, looking at 85 Raleigh, 94 in Atlanta, 95 Birmingham, Tupelo, 96 degrees, a hot 99 in Mobile, 90 in Tampa, 92 West Palm. Looking at plenty of sunshine to start the day off across the southeast, but as we get into the afternoon, a few pop-up showers across North Carolina, South Carolina. Through Florida, there will be afternoon showers and thunderstorms, a few heavy rainmakers at times. Through the evening hours, we'll start to see those showers taper off.
You are watching the National Weather Desk.
Triple-digit temperatures are forecast for every day this week in Austin, Texas. The city is now looking at innovative ways to keep temperatures down. Betty Cross shows us one idea is cool pavement.
When a road in Austin gets resurfaced, the new layer of asphalt is deep black. It's a durable material, but the dark color absorbs more sunlight and then radiates it back. This new asphalt being laid on Barton Springs Road will typically be 10 to 20 degrees hotter than concrete and other light-colored paving materials.
This section of road has a little bit lighter color.
City engineer Angela Johnson says Austin is testing how much of a difference color and cool pavement technology can make on an Austin street.
That stretch of road was treated with a so-called pavement, cool pavement, which is water-based emulsion and with addition of titanium dioxide.
Menardis Drive in South Austin got sprayed with the light-colored seal that reflects sunlight last fall. Since then, the University of Texas has done a series of tests to find out how effectively it reduces temperatures.
On an average, it could be anywhere from 2 to 5 to 10 degrees, depending on the conditions.
UT professor Dev Niogi says it's enough of a difference to make a city more livable.
Instead of the heat getting absorbed, it is reflected back. And if it is reflected, then it is not absorbed. If it is not absorbed, our temperatures don't rise.
127.
We asked the city engineer to check the temperature of the treated asphalt with the thermometer we provided.
In sunlight, is at 127.
Definitely hot, but asphalt routinely reaches temperatures around 140 degrees on a day like today.
Unprovoked shark attacks are down over the past decade. The International Shark Attack File identified 41 unprovoked attacks in the U.S. last year, which was down from 2021. Providence reporter Temi-Tope Adelea spoke with an expert about why these attacks are not common.
Here in Narragansett Town Beach, people fish, swim, and enjoy the surf without worry. But down the coast and one state away in New York, sharks attacked 5 swimmers on Long Island earlier this month. A 47-year-old woman was one of those bitten.
We're not good food for them. So I think it was just accidentally bumped into me and got scared.
The culprit, sand tiger sharks.
So along that backside of Long Island, they love to nursery. They're in the bays. They come out. There's a lot of bait along the shore, and unfortunately we're seeing just a lot of interactions between the sharks, the bait, and the people. And unfortunately, it's been much higher than it's been really forever.
Atlantic Shark Institute Executive Director John Dodd was featured on National Geographic's Shark Fest.
Dodd says sand tiger sharks are among the top 5 sharks most responsible for attacks worldwide.
So far, Rhode Island has been somewhat protected from these shark attacks, these incidences, but I think it has a lot to do with bait in terms of how the bait forms along the backside of Long Island versus where it forms here in Rhode Island. Secondarily, the type of shark. So, we've got blue sharks here, we've got makos, we've got threshers, we've got a number of absolutely gorgeous sharks, but they tend to be a little more offshore.
Dodd showed off the jaw of a 19-foot great white, #1 on the list of sharks most responsible for attacks and hungry for seals.
At least the good news is, because of what they feed on, if anything is this size, which is extremely rare, it would be up in the Cape and not here in Rhode Island because the food source simply doesn't exist.
Record high ocean temperatures in Florida made headlines last week. Warmer waters could have a drastic impact on coastlines and also marine life. Mike Owens spoke with a marine scientist in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, to find out more about the rising ocean temperatures.
This is the beginning of something that could get a lot worse.
Dr. Dan Abel is a professor of marine science at CCU. He says drastic changes to the ocean will start slow with warning signs, some of which we're already seeing now in Myrtle Beach, despite our water temperatures only being up slightly.
Earlier arrivals of some species and later departures. And the biggest things that determine that are day length and water temperature.
Abel warns that soon changes to the ocean will start to increase at a rapid pace, and at that point, it won't be fixable. He says we shouldn't just be concerned about our own shores, but the entire ocean, and watch out for things like rising water temperatures in Florida.
What it is going to affect is the long-term health of Florida ecosystems, and there will be definitely long-term consequences up here if that happens.
Abel says it's not just about sea temperatures, but acidity change, rising water levels, and changes in ocean currents. A visitor from Pittsburgh who makes several East Coast beach trips a year has noticed that the water is getting warmer all up and down the Atlantic. He says he's concerned and wants to help, but not sure what to do.
I got to research and, especially, experiencing this and how, warm the water is. Obviously, we need to make a change.
And earlier we showed you firefighters battling wildfires in California, Nevada, and Montana. In one part of California, fire prevention comes in the 4-legged variety. Muna Sadiq checks in to see how it's working.
Last year, the city of Chico released its community wildfire protection plan, looking at areas of the city that are most at risk of wildfire. Aerial computer images of the city highlight parts in red which are most exposed to high-intensity wildfire. Much of Bidwell Park is covered in that red. The report notes that most of Lower Park has more potential for what they call problem fire behavior because it has multiple layers of forest canopy. The report calls for reducing that fuel by cutting, chipping, and grazing. This is where these guys come in. Hundreds of Boer Spanish cross goats are back to grazing throughout the park. Experts say it's sometimes a better alternative to other vegetation treatments. It doesn't hurt air quality like prescribed burning does. It's relatively quiet, and you can do it in harder to reach areas where burning isn't feasible.
They're very good at elevating vegetation because they can get on their hind legs, and so as far as they can reach is what they're going to eat.
These herds were brought in from an Elk Grove farm, and they'll be here until the rainy season starts.
The other thing they do is they really open up dead wood. So after they go through and graze, we can come back and pick up a lot of the dead wood that's on the ground.
The city says the contract with Capra Environmental Services Corps is costing around $500 per acre, and they do about an acre a day.
People love the goats, and it's a fun way to control vegetation, and it is pretty inexpensive when you compare it to manual labor.
Viewers often send our stations pictures of unique cloud formations, and that's where our team of 200 meteorologists and weather experts like Kit Alexander in Bristol, Virginia, step in to help explain what they found.
A drive to the mountains can reveal some unique cloud formations, like the cloud in this photo. This is called stratusfractus, defined as a low-forming sheet cloud that is broken. This type of cloud often forms in the mountains during the warmer months. They are usually about 1,500 feet above ground and form near the edges of showers and thunderstorms. Stratusfractus can form when warm rain falls into the cool air. The droplets evaporate, recondense, forming these clouds. Wind can also play a role in breaking them from other clouds. Thank you, Shelia Ball, for sending us this photo from White-Top, Virginia.
And as we go to break, a look at hikers braving the heat through Nevada's Valley of Fire State Park.
Good morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Sarah Converse. A high pressure system nosing out of the Great Lakes regions, keeping most of the Midwest dry with temperatures in the low 80s. Columbus 82, Cincinnati 82, while Springfield a little bit warmer, sitting at 88 degrees with some rain chances to the west. For tonight's forecast, mostly clear skies for most of the region. Temperatures for the Ohio River Valley dropping down into the upper 50s and low 60s, but warmer temperatures to the west.
Good morning. I'm meteorologist Rebecca Stevenson. Here's what's happening across the West Coast. We've got temperatures near or just below average along the coastline and the beaches to the west. Moving inland, this is when we start to see temperatures climbing closer to the Rockies, and still very hot triple-digit heat across the desert southwest, where monsoonal moisture is beginning to move in. That's going to bring on a lot of some showers and thunderstorms across the southwest, and we're going to stay dry into the Pacific Northwest. That's the scene from here.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
A line of thunderstorms spawned a damaging EF1 tornado that also took out trees and branches along its 3-minute, mile-and-a-half path. It left behind this damage in downtown Sutton, Nebraska, about an hour outside of Lincoln. Peak winds were estimated at 110 miles per hour by the National Weather Service. No one was hurt. And on Sunday, it was a gorgeous day as the Cape May Lewis Ferry crossed the Delaware Bay.
For more content like this, follow the National Weather Desk on Instagram.
At the top of the show, you saw the impact severe storms have on the ground, but Theron Zahn says air travelers can feel the pain from thunderstorms as well.
Thunderstorms can have a big impact for people on the ground with heavy rain and gusty winds. They also have a big impact often on aircraft. And we're not just talking about planes taking off and landing. Planes traveling coast to coast can be impacted because thunderstorms can be as high as 66,000 feet. So the next time your flight is delayed as you're making a trip, it could be because the pilot had to reroute to get around some severe weather.
And we love to share your weather content on the air. You can find us on all of your favorite social media platforms, including Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Look at your screen. Just search at NAT-WX Desk or the National Weather Desk. We'll be right back. And thank you so much for joining us. Tomorrow on the National Weather Desk, we'll answer that age-old question, why is the sky blue? I'm Angela Brown. Make it a great day, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow.